everyone, this is Elise from Cycle 9. So next week is Bike to Work Week, which is a national event that's really promotes bicycling. May is Bike Month, and specifically biking to work. And this is a great opportunity for you to try biking to work if you've never tried it before. Now, a lot of cities and towns and things have some events and things going around revolving around Bike to Work Week. But today I thought I would give you a couple of tips about biking to work if you've never tried it, some things you should think about. And I hope you try it because it's really a fun thing to do, and you never know, you just might get hooked, and if not, you've at least tried it. So one thing is route finding. I've talked about route finding a bit in an earlier video and how important it is, because honestly the way you drive to work is probably not going to be the best way to bike to work. Often that involves high speed and highways and things. And you might be surprised at what you can find if you look around. You might find residential streets, connectors and things that you would never drive that way, but it would be perfect for biking. So before you go, spend a little bit of time looking around, asking people. Maybe there's people at your work already who bike, for their tips and information about route finding, so you can find a nice way to go. Even if it's slightly longer, it'll be much more enjoyable. A second thing is check the weather before you go. Now, a lot of people bike in all kinds of weather, and that's perfect, but if it's your first time or you don't really bike very much to work, you probably want to pick a nice day where the weather's going to be not too hot and it's not going to be rainy and super windy, and you just have a more enjoyable time. And really the whole point of this thing is to have fun. Third is to think about what kind of clothing you're going to wear, but not to overthink it. Now, you don't need to break out the full-on spandex road, clipless pedals and all that stuff just to bike to work. My dad was a big bike commuter, and he biked in his business suit every day of the year. And in hot weather he would bring an extra t-shirt and he would wear that. So I don't typically, am not a fan of necessarily wearing the full-on bike regalia on your way to work. Although if you want to do that, that's fine. But you know, you don't want to overthink it. You can just wear regular clothes. If you have to change when you get to the office, that's not a big deal. And you might even want to think about bringing some extra clothes ahead of time, the day before possibly, if this is your first time, just to have one less thing to think about and be less coordinated. And as far as showering, some people, it really is kind of a personal thing. Some people feel like it's absolutely necessary to have a shower. For many, many years I bike commuted with no shower, and I would just use wet ones to get at the grocery store to kind of sponge down quickly once I got to work. You do have to wait a few minutes though to stop sweating before you can effectively clean yourself up. So don't worry if you don't have a shower. You might as well just try it anyway and see how it goes. And bring an extra shirt. One other tip is to leave plenty of time. Don't do this on a day when you're rushing into work to get to a meeting, or you have to rush home after work to pick up children or meet a babysitter or whatever you do after work. Try to do it on a day when you have plenty of time, you're not going to be rushed, and then you know, you'll just have a more enjoyable time. And lastly, just remember to have fun. I mean, the whole point of biking, and one of the great things about it, is really fun thing to do. And so while you don't get too wrapped up in all of the details, and remember to have fun on your way. Look around and see what kind of new things you can see. I bet you'll find at least one thing, probably more than that you've never seen on your way to work in the car. So that's one of the things I love about biking. There was one time I was biking and I noticed for the first time this woman, it was around Easter time, had put those little plastic Easter eggs, hung them all over this tree that happened to be near the road, and I'd gone by that tree hundreds of times and never noticed this before until just one day I was riding along and I was like, oh, look at all those Easter eggs there. So I bet if you look around you'll find something fun and interesting and different that you wouldn't notice in your car. So since it is Bike to Work Week, next week there probably are events going on in your area, so check around your local media, newspapers, and you know, just search on the internet and see what kind of events are going on and what you can find. I bet there's something going on. Here in Chapel Hill and Carrboro, we've got 3 things going on. I've detailed a lot of the events down here below for people who are local, and I'll just briefly mention them because I think they're going to be really fun. Saturday at the farmers market, we're going to have a bike on the bus demonstration, a real non-intimidating way to practice putting your bike on the bus. Just then you don't have to worry about not knowing how to do it when you're standing at the bus stop and there's traffic and people waiting for you. So that'll be at both farmers markets, Carrboro and Estes Drive, on Saturday this coming. Next Tuesday there's going to be a bike breakfast across from the Open Eye in Carrboro, and that'll just be a place to stop by, get some free coffee, some free food, sign up for a raffle. We'll have some mechanics there to give your bikes free adjustments and things like that. Saturday, that's Tuesday morning, and Friday evening we're going to have an end of the week party and ride, starting and ending at the Wallace parking deck in Chapel Hill. That's the parking deck on Rosemary Street downtown, and it'll be an 8-mile ride, relatively flat. We're not going up and down the huge hill, and just kind of ride around, have fun, tour of Chapel Hill and Carrboro, ending there and having some music and food and things like that. So hopefully it turns out to be a great event, and we'll do it again next year. So lots of fun things coming up next week here, and check around your area and you probably will find some too. So thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow.